Good evening and welcome back. The plan today is to attempt to build a power station. I'd like to do a steam all the way thing, and I'm also going for speed, so I don't think I'll have time to place down a full nuclear setup. So what I need is a steam powered energy generator that can make about 500 to 600 kilowatts. I think that's anything above 5 is good. If I can get up towards 6, then that's ideal. Now, what I'd like to do is design it in isolation in a clean world first, and then see what the options are. So let's play Scenario Sandbox. I'm going to go for enemies never attack first. I don't care about resources because I'm not using any. Let's generate. Okay, we're going for all the tech, please. Oh, we have to press tab first. Enable creative mode. Yes. I think it's just yes. All tech, please. No thanks to items. Cheat mode, please. Always day. Okay, so we're all set up. And let's just have a quick look around. Okay, there's a bit of space here. So let's get a blank bit of page. Let's go to creative tools. There's a creative drone port, which has a really big logistics area and a really, really big construction area. It's not powered, so let's power that with a passive energy source. So the passive energy source supplies power as it's needed. Right, we can glue those together with a power pole. So now the drone port is powered. I'm going to get some creative construction bots, 1 stack of those. I'm going to get a creative provider and a void storage. So this now means that I can build and deconstruct things. I'm going to make a couple of blueprints, 3 for good measure, and a deconstructor, and a second one. Set this to trees and rocks. Okay, so that's basically me set up. So the other thing is, I'm not going to bother wiring this to water because that would tie me down to a particular location. So I'm going to use the creative fluids for that. Anyway, let's start making a boiler. So I need some medium electric poles. I need some boilers. They come in stacks of 50. 40 of them are for a basic setup. These come in stacks of 10, and I need 80 of these. Okay. Although this is probably completely overkill, I can probably get my bots to do most of the work. And we want some pipes and some underground pipes. Okay, so let's start off by putting down some boilers. Actually, let's start off by clearing off all the rocks. Okay, that's cleared all that away. Brilliant. So let's start off by putting down some steam engines. So I had 10 in my hand. Okay, so that's 2 stacks of 10 I've put down. That should be 20. Let's check that. Yeah, that is 20. Okay. So let's make use of our bots. So I've got 20. I want to put down another 20. I've got in the habit of placing them down like this with a pipe gap between them because it makes the array shorter. I've misaligned that. Okay, so that's 4 of them done. If you do hold down Shift when you do the blueprint, then it quick places it. Without you having to go through and give it names and things. Okay, so there they are with all the pipes in. This probably isn't the most efficient way to do this. Let's have fast inserters. You can use slow inserters. I've sometimes found that slow inserters can't pick up off red belts. So let's do it with those. Okay, so then we would probably run a belt down the middle, and let's make it a red belt just because. And we're going to run it like that. Okay. So then we're going to pull off the other side. So then we can place down. Oh, I've done something really silly. Okay. This is why we have blueprints, for when silly things happen. So I forgot to put down the things that actually do the real work, that boil the water. All right, let's kill that off. Okay. So here's a boiler. There we are. Okay, so now we can put that blueprint back down. There. Then we can put down those. Attach that. Shift click to clear that blueprint. Grab that. And there we are. And then the last thing is to add the electric poles. And I'm intending this to be tileable so that I can put the boilers side by side. It's quite useful to place large electric poles at the corners for 2 reasons. First of all, it guarantees that there is a way to get power in and out. And it glues all your incidental electric poles together. And also, when you then blueprint this, I'll show you. So let's take a new blueprint. Right, so now I've got this blueprinted. The electric poles, the large ones, act as really good anchors to show you that you've got things aligned. Right. So that's why I do that. Right, so the next thing is we need to put in the power poles. And the easiest way to do this is to just run down in the gaps. Let's check that looks all right. Then we do the same the other side. Okay. And then we need to get the inserters in the middle powered. I know some people use burner inserters or burner inserters for the final 4. I'm not going to bother here. Life is short. Okay, so they're flashing red because they have no fuel. And these are flashing red because they have no power. So what we would like to do is power this up. And what I'm thinking of doing is powering this from solid fuel. So let's drag out this line a bit. So let's set up a little solid fuel maker. Solid fuel's made in chemical plants. Here we are. So there. We're going to export the solid fuel onto the belt. let's tell this it's making solid fuel. We'll make it from petroleum. This is Sandbox, it's free. Press Alt so we can see what's actually happening in the machines. And then add pipes. So I'm just going to add a line of pipes on the outside of the machines because there's nothing else we're really doing with them. And I'm going to run them a couple of extras up underneath. Then I can run a pipe off to the side. If we go back to creative mode, these are creative fluid sources. So they're an unlimited supply of your favorite fluid. In this case, I want petroleum. There we are, that's got petroleum. We need to add an electric pole to power up this unit. And there we go. Nothing's happening because it doesn't currently have power, but we can fix that by running a cable over to here. And there we are. Got some fuel being made. Brilliant. And nothing's happening because there's no power here to get things going. If I hold down, hold down F, I can hoover this stuff up. I've got 24 in my inventory. Put them in. That's got 24 solid fuel. That one's now trying to burn, and nothing's happening. The reason for this is because there's not really any power draw. We can fix this by, oh, sorry, there's an even better reason, which is there's no water coming in. Right, so let's run an underground out, just to give us a bit of space. Right, and then we use the creative mode fluids to provide water. There we are. Okay, so that bit of solid fuel I put in there bootstrapped this whole thing up. This array is now making enough power to power the inserters, and not really bothering to make any more, because these things don't produce power if the power is not needed. These are generating solid fuel at a very, very slow rate. So one day this will start filling up this belt. Okay, so since we're in creative mode, we're going to go for overkill. But the first thing we need to do is try and run this at full power. So if we click on this, this is generating 20. We're producing about 40 kilowatts. Yeah, 47 kilowatts, 40 kilowatts, something like that. And it's all being consumed by the inserters. So we're just powering the inserters. There's nothing else drawing power. What we can do to fix this is use a passive energy void. And what this does is basically sucks out all the unused power from the electric network it's attached to. So this is now what any excess, any energy that's not being used for anything else is being sucked into this. It's like a capacitor which permanently charges. So now if we click on here, the inserters are drawing 40-ish megawatts, and the passive energy void is also drawing about 40, right? But the fuel is now being put in slower than it's being burnt up. You can see the reservoir at the bottom isn't building up. The blocks are being consumed, yeah, before they get down. So 4 solid fuel makers is not enough. Right, well, everything's free, so let's make more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. And that's 6 more lots of 4. So that's quite a lot of solid fuel being made. Right, so now if we look, everything's starting to power up. Yeah, solid fuel's getting down further and further. It's being produced faster than it's being picked up. There we are. Okay, and if we look at the power production chart, the chart is going up. So let's put it on 1 minute. So the chart's climbing up and up and up pretty linearly as the boilers get fueled. Okay, it's up to 56 megawatts. 42 megawatts output, 43. Right. If we put it down to 5 seconds, the output is 71.6 megawatts. The theoretical maximum is 72 for this kind of array. So we're at capacity. And our solid fuel is backing up. It's got down to here. So it's now being produced faster than it's being consumed, I think. Yeah, it is. So it's not that far off, actually. Not that far off being balanced, but it is backing up. So let's leave this to run for a minute and see just how much it does back up. Because that will tell us if we've got enough solid fuel making machines or if we need more. Okay, so still backing up. It's a bit like watching paint dry, but you know. And it's black on grey, I understand. It'd be nicer if the solid fuel was some crazy colour that you could see. But okay, so it's now backing up out of the boilers. And it's now backing up onto the bit of belt out here that we can see easier because there's no steam. Getting there. Right, so we are definitely producing solid fuel faster than it's being consumed. It's starting to compress and it's reached some machines. Great. Okay, so in a moment some of these will start backing up and this will sort of tell us how many extra machines we've got, how many surplus machines, because some of these machines will start going yellow as they can't output and as they fill up with product. And at that point, we know we can take that number of machines off the far end. So these are definitely backed up. These, we might have reached the balance point actually. This looks like it might. Oh no, I spoke too soon. Yeah, this is about where we're at. So it looks like we have about twice as many machines as we need. So I'm going to trim off that much. There we go. So now this should start draining. Yep, it is starting to drain. And what I want to see is it draining almost to the end of this. I'd like the last couple of solid machines to be intermittently backed up or permanently backed up. We'll see if we reach that. I think we could possibly speed this process up by draining this system out. So it's going to matter void. So matter voids eat whatever is in front of them. So that's just draining the belt. Then we can join it back up. Okay. So that's just reset. Because some of these machines were quite backed up, they were pretty full of product. Good, so I think that's about right. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 machines. That's just about right. Okay, so let's take a blueprint of this. Hang on. I wonder. So this looks sort of like it would fit on the end, and then we wouldn't have this sticky out thing. I'm just thinking, because if we clear these blueprints for a moment, if we took a blueprint of this, get rid of all the excess. So we would place down the sister one here, but the solid fuel making array sticks out. I don't really like how it sticks out. So I'm wondering if we could place the solid fuel maker at the bottom of the boiler array, so horizontally rather than vertically. Oh, okay, so now this isn't quite keeping up. This is starting to run through. If we look at P, so for 1 minute, we are consuming 340 blocks. We're making 290, 300 blocks. So we are 40 blocks shy. So let's put on another 4 machines. This should be overkill, but it seems like the safe sort of overkill. Okay, and then let's take a blueprint of this. Right, and if we look at production now, we're producing 380 and consuming 3. Let's go over a minute. Okay. So we're consuming 350 and we are waiting for this to run off the bottom of the chart, but we're now producing more than we are consuming, which means something will back up. Yeah, so it's about 350 versus 380. So we've got 30 in hand. Probably means that we have 2 extra machines. So I could trim 2 machines off and we'd be almost perfectly balanced. Okay, that really does look like it fits quite well though. I wonder, so we could put this, I want something that tiles. So if that was placed there and we had another one there, then we would have the 2 halves of it facing inwards. We could then put a splitter to merge, and when we tiled these arrays, the pipes and the power would all join up. So let's do this slightly over to the side. I I'm going to take that. So that's a functioning boiler array, but it doesn't have any fuel. There we are. Okay. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it down twice. Once, let's just get this lined up. Okay, so once this side and once this side. There we are. Then I'm going to join this together with a splitter. Probably want the splitter to be up on the line here. Okay, run that down. So this is all one power network. The poles are bridging across. Then we don't want the overhang here. So let's take off 4 machines. And we don't need these 2 extra belts. So let's take off the 4 machines and the 2 extra belts. But this should now tile. So if we take this, don't want that power voidy thing. Okay. So if we now place that down there, does this work? It does, you know. Those pipes will join up. And the only other thing needed to make this really work well would be to join up this. Okay, so I can retake the blueprint now. So the blueprint goes from there to there. Yep. I needed, let's have a look. So I need the pipe to ground. No, I don't need that. Because these ones directly join, don't they? Okay, so that could go there. Let's put it there. So that is 4 full boiler arrays. And all I need to do now is push in some petroleum and get the thing jump started. So, fluid source, let's just push petroleum in on the end there. We have petroleum all the way through. And I can jump start it from this one. There we have it. We have some solid fuel being generated. Yep, that's probably enough to be able to take that away. No, that's not. It needs a bit more help to get going. Okay. Let's take that away because we're going to replace it down here in a moment. Okay, let's put the passive energy void there. So now this whole thing should be generating fuel. Now what's the problem here? Ah, we hadn't hooked up petroleum to the other half. And what's the best way to do this? I'm just thinking of the best way, because once we've joined up these two pipes, there's no extending the array in that direction anymore. Okay, let's make it really clear what's going on. Okay, so then we can put the petroleum in there. There we are. Okay, so now everything is being, yep, there's solid fuel being generated on both sides now. It's feeding in and backing up. What else? There is water going in. It is fueled. We have steam. And we're drawing... is this a creative mode void or passive energy void? So that is sucking out the energy. But we don't seem to have much going on. There's no steam coming off it. So I'm going to kill off this one now. And then we'll figure out what's going on. Okay, so that's all gone. So we definitely have fuel. The inserters are pointed the right way. Ah, we don't have these fluid sources. That's what it was. There. 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 Okay, now we have steam. So we're a bit backed up because we were producing things without actually burning any of it, but this is all beginning to work. So this is consuming electricity, and this is generating 286 megawatt, which is not far off what you'd expect, is it? So 4 times 72. 4 sevens are 7, 14, 21, 28. Yeah, so 28 we'd expect to be making 288, I think, if I can add up. And we're making 286, so we are basically there. So this works. And if you remembered, I needed to make about 500, between 5 and 600 to make things behave for me. So let's take a blueprint of this. And I think we only need to take a blueprint of one. I'll just stamp it down 4 times. Okay. Because the last blueprint we did didn't have undergrounds in all the right places. So that's 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I'll need to put in these water inputs. There we are. And for some reason the creative water isn't getting dropped in. Okay, so that's working. It's getting powered up. And let's have a look at the graph. So let's look at the 10-minute graph. It goes up and up and up. The 1-minute graph, it's going up. It's nearly doubled. And if we look at the 5 seconds, we're now climbing past the 500 megawatt mark and heading up and up and up. 537, 538. Right, we're pretty much plateaued. 540. 550. Well, there's no point counting the individual megawatts now. 560, it's still rising a bit as they all burn in. I think there's still a handful of boilers which aren't quite switched on. $572. And that seems to be where it's plateaued. So this makes 572 megawatts. And so it scrolls fine here. And let's go back up and lag. Not so bad when I'm zoomed in, zoomed all the way out. Absolutely awful frame rate. I think that is animating all the smoke. So I may have to turn the smoke animations off if I'm going to do this. But that works. So we have quite a compact. This is all we're doing to generate our power. Yeah, look, we're just backing up a handful of these machines. That's going green now and again. I reckon we're backing up. Yeah, so that's gone green. Now that's turned green. So I think that's about right. I think that's about right. So there we have it. A tileable steam-powered monster array where you just have to feed in something for the solid fuel to be made from. And that can be petroleum, heavy or light oil, whatever you have left over. Well, I'm very pleased with that. So I'm going to call this a success, export the blueprint, and probably put it into my base in a box and try it out there. See if this array of 8 double boiler stacks can power the whole base. Thanks very much for listening. It's been a pleasure as always. If you have any comments or suggestions about how this could be improved, and if you've also had issues with smoke lag, please let me know in the comments. Other than that, have fun playing Factorio. See you again soon.